All right, everyone, we're about to get started. If we can silence our phones, find our seats, close the side doors and the back door's already closed. Thank you. Greatly appreciate it. Okay, good evening, everyone. We are on the record. Today is Wednesday, the 11th day of June in the year 2025. This is a regular meeting of the Jersey City Municipal Council. We had a scheduled 6 p.m. start. The clock on my cell phone is showing 6:22 p.m. May we have a roll call for the commencement of this meeting? Councilperson Ridley.
Here.
Councilperson Hewlings.
Present.
Councilperson Baggiano.
Yeah.
Councilperson Saleh.
Here.
Councilperson Solomon.
Here.
Councilperson Gilmore.
Present.
Councilperson DeGise. Councilperson Rivera.
Here.
And Council President Waterman.
Here.
We have all 9 council members in attendance at 6:22 p.m. Can we kindly rise for a moment of silence, please?
Javier Gaitan, I'll spell it Javier Gaetan.
Jane Corton and Carmine Scalia.
Like Manzo's mom.
April Kuzas.
To the republic, which is stand, one nation, to God, visible.
Got to say happy birthday to Sean Gallagher. Whoops, the wrong Sean Gallagher. It's his son.
All right, since the councilman let the cat out of the bag, it's my son's 32nd birthday today. So happy birthday to my son, Sean.
And he has
Every year he has a birthday. It reminds me of how long I've been working for the city, 32 long years. But anyway, on behalf of Council President Waterman and the members of the Municipal Council in accordance with New Jersey Public Laws of 1975, Chapter 231, the Open Public Meetings Act, also known as the Sunshine Law, adequate notice of this meeting has been provided by the posting on the bulletin board of the first floor of City Hall, the annual notice, which is the schedule of meetings and caucuses of the Municipal Council for the calendar year 2025, and filed in the office of the City Clerk on Friday, November 15th, 2024. In addition, at its time of its preparation, the agenda of this meeting was similarly disseminated on Friday, June 6, 2025 at 4:35 p.m. to the Mayor, Municipal Council, Business Administrator, Corporation Council, and the local newspapers and posted on the city's website so I can certify as to our total compliance with the Sunshine Law. Council members, before we get into our agenda, there are just 2 items that we need to add to the agenda. And those are 2 late items, 2 late resolutions. Item 10.49, Resolution 25-410 is a resolution of the Municipal Council supporting the Jersey City Free Public Libraries Cafe Program Project Grant, Miller Branch Library, and the Dow David Williams Cultural Arts Center. Next, item 10.50, Resolution 25-411 is a resolution honoring Officer Marvin Legettis for his heroic actions in rescuing a distressed individual from the Pulaski Skyway and his dedicated service to the city of Jersey City. Council members, may I have a motion to add items
Hold on, Sean.
10.45?
We're not gonna add 50 this meeting. We already, he's not here.
We can still add it, vote on it, and then present him with a new one, with a proclamation type thing.
Okay, all right.
Next meeting. You can still vote on it, Councilman, but it's totally up to you. I don't want to sway you.
No, that makes sense. And then we'll have him come to, okay, all right.
Okay, so council members, do I have a motion to add items 10.49 and 10.50 to the agenda?
Motion.
Motion made by Councilperson Gilmore. May I have a second?
Second.
I'm going to give that second to Councilperson DeGise, but it was really close. On the motion to add items 10.45 and 10.50 to the agenda, Councilperson Ridley,
Aye.
Councilperson Hewlings,
Aye.
Councilperson Bajano,
Aye.
Councilperson Saleh,
Aye.
Councilperson Solomon,
Aye.
Councilperson Gilmore,
Aye.
Councilperson DeGise,
Aye.
Councilperson Rivera,
Aye.
and Council President Waterman. Motion carries 9-0 to add items 10.49 and 10.50 to the agenda. Okay, before I read the first readings into the record, which I'm going to have to do before I take the vote. I know Councilperson Rivera has to leave due to some family issues. So once I take the first readings, I read them into the record. I'll ask for your vote, and then we'll go through the agenda items and take your vote, Councilman, on the items that I can take your vote on, and then you can be excused from the rest of the meeting. Sound like a plan?
Great.
Excellent. All right. First reading ordinances. Item 3.1, City Ordinance 25-066 is an ordinance amending and supplementing Chapter 90 Animals of the Jersey City Municipal Code. Item 3.2, City Ordinance 25-067 is an ordinance amending and supplementing Chapter 99 Barbershops and Beauty Parlors of the Jersey City Municipal Code. Item 3.3, City Ordinance 25-068 is an ordinance amending and supplementing Chapter 160 Fees and Charges of the Jersey City Municipal Code to revise the fees for Section C, Chapter 84 Alcoholic Beverages and Cannabis, Section E, Chapter 90 Animals, Section F, Chapter 99 Barbershops, Beauty Parlors, Section P, Chapter 175, Food Handling Establishments, Section Q, Chapter 182, Health and Sanitation, Section S, Chapter 193, ICE, Section U, Chapter 207, Laundries and Dry Cleaners, and Section RR, Chapter 329, Vending Machines. Item 3.4, City Ordinance 25-069 is an ordinance amending and supplementing Chapter 175, Food Handling Establishments, Article 2, Mobile Food Vendors, and Article 3, Food Establishments. Item 3.5, City Ordinance 25-070 is an ordinance amending and supplementing Chapter 175, Food Handling Establishments, Article 2, Mobile Food Vendors, and Article 3, Food Establishments. They seem like they're the same ordinances, but they do two different things, and they amend two different sections of those chapters. So what I'll try to do for the next meeting is put something in parentheses to differentiate the two ordinances. Item 3.6, City Ordinance 25-071, an ordinance amending and striking Chapter 193 ICE from the Jersey City Municipal Code. Item 3.7, City Ordinance 25-02072 is an ordinance amending and supplementing Chapter 207 Laundries and Dry Cleaners, Article 1 Coin-Operated Dry Cleaners, and Article 2 Laundries of the Jersey City Municipal Code. And last but not least, item 3.8, City Ordinance 25-073 is an ordinance amending Chapter 296 Streets, Sidewalks, and Public Rights of Way, Article 2 Closure of Public Rights of Way of the City Code requiring council approval for certain applications for street closures. Council members are going to be taking a vote for introduction on items 3.1 through 3.8. Councilperson Ridley.
Aye for introduction.
Councilperson Hewlings.
Aye.
Councilperson Bajano.
Aye.
Councilperson Saleh.
Aye.
Councilperson Solomon.
Aye.
Councilperson Gilmore.
Aye for introduction.
Councilperson DeGise. Councilperson Rivera.
Aye.
And Council President Waterman.
Aye for introduction.
Items 3.1 through 3.8 are introduced unanimously 9-0. Okay, before we get on to the second reading ordinances, Councilperson Rivera, I'm going to take your vote on the second reading, the final adoption of the second reading ordinances, so that we're going to start with ordinance 25-058.
Aye.
Ordinance 25-059.
Aye.
Ordinance 25-060.
Aye.
Ordinance 25-061.
Aye.
Ordinance 25-062.
Aye.
Ordinance 25-063.
Aye.
Ordinance 25-064.
Aye.
Ordinance 25-065 is going to be carried to the next meeting, Councilperson Rivera, so I'm not going to take your vote on that one. I'm going to go right to the claims and addendum, and then we're going to go to the resolutions. So claims and addendum number 1, Councilperson Rivera.
Aye.
I just have to catch up myself. Okay. On resolutions, items 10.1 through 10.13.
Aye.
10.14 to 10.24.
Aye.
10.25 through 10.35.
Aye.
And for the balance of the resolutions, items 10.36 through 10.50.
I'll abstain on 1044. 46, 47, and 48. Absolutely no.
Wait a minute, sorry, I thought you were abstaining. So you're abstaining on 10.44
That's correct.
and you're voting no on 10.46,
47
10.47,
and 48.
and 10.48. And aye on all the rest.
That's correct.
Councilperson Rivera, you are free to go.
Well, before I leave, and my apologies, but I just want to make a statement because this keeps on coming back, and it's referring to 108 Sussex Street. I know the Portside people are here. You know, it's something that keeps on coming back. What saves a lot of my comments is that we have a lot of youth here, so I have to conduct myself a little well. So 108 Sussex Street, you know, my family lived in this building from the mid 60s to the mid 70s. Make no mistake about it, that whole area was a Puerto Rican and Dominican neighborhood, predominantly a Puerto Rican neighborhood. And it gets me upset when I hear that this owner or whoever is defending 108 Sussex Street, that it was a brothel house. It was not a brothel house. It was an apartment building that every single apartment built and every single apartment there had a kitchen, had a bathroom. Everybody ate in their own apartment. It wasn't what they're saying it is or it was. It was not a brothel house. I take that personally because most of my family lived in that building the way a lot of Puerto Ricans lived back in those days. They came from the island and they got a building and we all lived in the same place and we had a great time. But it was not a brothel house. It is 100% residential building. And I hope that, you know, they get that clear and they make it clear that, you know, that's what that's all about. And finally, to the PAL people, Mr. Foster, keep on fighting, man. We got your back. Take care.
Okay. On to our second reading ordinances. Item 4.1, City Ordinance 25-058 is an ordinance amending Chapter 175 Food Handling Establishments of the Jersey City Municipal Code, creating an itinerant mobile truck parking zone 3. This is a public hearing on this ordinance. Any member of the public wishing to be heard, please come up to the podium and state your name for the record. And before you do that, if you wouldn't mind just spelling your name for the record and for my court reporter.
Diane Atwell, DIANE ATWELL.
ATW.
ELL.
Thank you, Diane.
Ladies and gentlemen of the City Council, I would like to speak in favor of the passage of this ordinance. My name is Diane Atwell, and I'm honored to serve as the president of the Hamilton Park Neighborhood Association, representing the vibrant and diverse voices of our community. I previously spoke at the first reading regarding the ongoing challenges posed by these trucks in our neighborhood. Despite Council Solomon's dedicated efforts to engage with vendors and seek a compromise, meaningful progress has been elusive. For the vendors, the priority remains sales, with little regard for the adverse effects. Persistent noise, unpleasant odors, and the harmful fine particles from the diesel engines. These pollutants infiltrate the air, impacting the health of our children who spend countless joyful hours in the adjacent playground. The HPNA recently hosted a public meeting to gather community feedback. We heard passionate voices from frustrated residents of 9th Street, directly affected by those issues, to others who appreciate the conveniences the trucks provide. While there is no simple solution, this proposal represents a constructive step forward. It ensures that no single row of townhouses bears the disproportionate burden of these trucks. The proposed locations will alleviate the exposure for children in the playground. Though the adjustments may seem complex, they are part of a thoughtful effort to achieve balance, preserving the vibrancy these vendors bring while safeguarding the health, safety, and tranquility of our neighborhood. The HPNA respectfully urges your support for this proposal. It embodies years of dialogue, the lived experiences of our residents, and a collective commitment to keep our public spaces welcoming, healthy, and livable for all. Thank you.
It's still a public hearing, and if you can just spell your name for the record.
Jennifer Meyer, it's Jennifer, Meyer, Meyer.
Meyer.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Jennifer.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen of the council. I also would urge you to vote yes on the ordinance that Diane just spoke about. I've lived 30 years in Jersey City at 495 Monmouth Street, which is just a couple blocks off the park. And I actually, at the farmer's market, I walk all the vendors in and out. I have the yellow vest kind of thing. So I'm very aware of how dicey it is when you have trucks and children and all of that. I just want to say that I think it's a great solution, and I wasn't clear on the complexity of it because literally, there will be a movie night or there will be a concert or there will be a dance performance, and all of a sudden we'll have 3 ice cream trucks that we have to go ask them not to play the music during. And with this, you have, somebody wins a lottery position, it's one person, and then they set their watch every 2 hours and they just move from point A to point B. And so I just think it's a really simple solution. And anyone who is wins that lottery, I hope they'll be compliant because, they're getting a very good deal, and it will help the neighborhood. People will really appreciate it. So, and I also lived on 9th Street at 264, right where the ice cream truck is currently. And it's a lot when it's there all day long. So thank you very much.
Thank you. This is still a public hearing on City Ordinance 25-058. Any member of the public still wishing to be heard, please come up to the podium and state your name for the record.
Motion.
Okay. All right, just operating the camera. We have a motion to close the public hearing on City Ordinance 25-058 by Council President Waterman. May I have a second? Seconded by Councilperson Baggiano. On the motion to close the public hearing on City Ordinance 25-058, Councilperson Ridley.
Aye.
Councilperson Hewlings.
Aye.
Councilperson Baggiano. Councilperson Saleh.
Aye.
Councilperson Solomon.
Aye.
Councilperson Gilmore.
Aye.
Councilperson DeGise. And Council President Waterman. Motion carries 8-0 with Councilperson Rivera absent. For final consideration and adoption of City Ordinance 25-058, Councilperson Ridley.
Aye.
Councilperson Hewlings,
Aye.
Councilperson Bajiano, Councilperson Saleh,
Aye.
Councilperson Solomon,
Aye.
Councilperson Gilmore,
Aye.
Councilperson DeJeece. Councilperson Rivera voted earlier. Council President Waterman. City Ordinance 25-058 is adopted unanimously 9-0. On to our next second reading ordinance, item 4.2. City Ordinance 25-059 is an ordinance amending and supplementing Chapter 255 short-term rentals. This is a public hearing on this ordinance. Any member of the public wishing to be heard, please come up to the podium and state your name for the record.
Second.
Motion to close the public hearing was made by Council President Waterman on City Ordinance 25-059, seconded by Councilperson Saleh. On the motion to close the public hearing on City Ordinance 25-059, Councilperson Ridley.
Aye.
Councilperson Hewlings.
Aye.
Councilperson Bajiano. Councilperson Saleh.
Aye.
Councilperson Solomon.
Aye.
Councilperson Gilmore.
Aye.
Councilperson DeJeece. Councilperson Rivera is absent, sorry, and Council President Waterman. Motion carries 8-0 with Councilperson Rivera absent on closing the public hearing on City Ordinance 25-059 for final consideration and adoption of City Ordinance 25-059. Councilperson Ridley.
Aye.
Councilperson Hewlings.
Aye.
Councilperson Bajiano. Councilperson Saleh.
Aye.
Councilperson Solomon.
Aye.
Councilperson Gilmore.
Aye.
Councilperson DeJeece. Councilperson Rivera voted earlier, and Council President Waterman. City Ordinance 25-059 is adopted unanimously 9-0. On to our next second reading ordinance, item 4.3, City Ordinance 25-060 is an ordinance supplementing Chapter 332, Vehicles and Traffic, Article 9, Parking for the Disabled of the Jersey City Code, designated a reserved parking space at various locations throughout the city. This is a public hearing on this ordinance. Any member of the public wishing to be heard, please come up to the podium and state your name for the record.
Second.
Motion to close the public hearing on City Ordinance 25-060 was made by Council President Waterman and seconded by Councilperson Saleh. On the motion to close the public hearing on City Ordinance 25-060, Councilperson Ridley.
Aye.
Councilperson Hewlings.
Aye.
Councilperson Bajiano. Councilperson Saleh.
Aye.
Councilperson Solomon.
Aye.
Councilperson Gilmore.
Aye.
Councilperson DeJeece. And Council President Waterman. Motion to close the public hearing on City Ordinance 25-060 carries 8-0 with Councilperson Rivera absent. For final consideration and adoption of Ordinance 25-060, Councilperson Ridley.
Aye.
Councilperson Hewlings.
Aye.
Councilperson Bajiano. Councilperson Saleh.
Aye.
Councilperson Solomon. Councilperson Gilmore.
Aye.
Councilperson DeJeece.
Aye.
Councilperson Rivera voted earlier, and Council President Waterman. City Ordinance 25-060 is adopted unanimously 9-0. On to our next second reading ordinance, item 4.3, City Ordinance 25-0. Well, sorry. Item 4.4, City Ordinance 25-061 is an ordinance supplementing Chapter 332, Vehicles and Traffic, Article 2, Traffic Regulations, amending Section 332-9, stopped intersections to designate the intersection of Bergen Avenue and Woodlawn Avenue as a multi-way stop-controlled intersection. This is a public hearing on this ordinance. Any member of the public wishing to be heard, please come up to the podium and state your name for the record.
Motion.
Motion to close the public hearing on City Ordinance 25-061 was made by Council President Waterman
Second.
and seconded by Councilperson Saleh. On the motion to close the public hearing on City Ordinance 25-061, Councilperson Ridley.
Aye.
Councilperson Hewlings.
Aye.
Councilperson Bajiano. Councilperson Saleh.
Aye.
Councilperson Solomon.
Aye.
Councilperson Gilmore.
Aye.
Councilperson DeJeece. And Council President Waterman.
Aye.
Motion to close the public hearing on City Ordinance 25-061 carries 8-0 with Councilperson Rivera absent. For final consideration and adoption of City Ordinance 25-061, Councilperson Ridley.
Aye.
Councilperson Hewlings.
Aye.
Councilperson Bajano. Councilperson Saleh.
Aye.
Councilperson Solomon.
Aye.
Councilperson Gilmore.
Aye.
Councilperson DeJeece. Councilperson Rivera voted earlier, and Council President Waterman. City Ordinance 25-061 is adopted unanimously 9-0. On to our next second reading ordinance. Hopefully I don't say the wrong one again. Item 4.5, City Ordinance 25-062 is an ordinance supplementing Chapter 332, Vehicles and Traffic, Article 3, Parking, Standing, Stopping, amending Section 332-31, Parking Restrictions for Street Cleaning Purposes on Berry Lane and Forest Street. This is a public hearing on this ordinance. Any member of the public wishing to be heard, please come up to the podium and state your name for the record.
Second.
Motion to close the public hearing on City Ordinance 25-062 was made by Council President Waterman, seconded by Councilperson Saleh. On the motion to close the public hearing on City Ordinance 25-062, Councilperson Ridley.
Aye.
Councilperson Hewlings.
Aye.
Councilperson Bajano. Councilperson Saleh.
Aye.
Councilperson Solomon.
Aye.
Councilperson Gilmore.
Aye.
Councilperson DeJeece. And Council President Waterman. Motion carries 8-0 with Councilperson Rivera absent to close the public hearing on City Ordinance 25-062. For final consideration and adoption of City Ordinance 25-062, Councilperson Ridley.
Aye.
Councilperson Hewlings.
Aye.
Councilperson Bajano. Councilperson Saleh.
Aye.
Councilperson Solomon.
Solomon.
Aye.
Councilperson Gilmore.
Aye.
Councilperson DeJeece. Councilperson Rivera voted earlier, and Council President Waterman. City Ordinance 25-062 is adopted unanimously 9-0. On to our next second reading ordinance. Item 4.6, City Ordinance 25-063 is an ordinance supplementing Chapter 332, Vehicles and Traffic, Article 7, Metered Parking, amending Section 332-48, designation of parking spaces on Liberty Avenue between Newark Avenue and Van Winkle Avenue. This is a public hearing on this ordinance. Any member of the public wishing to be heard, please come up to the podium and state your name for the record.
Second.
Motion to close the public hearing on City Ordinance 25-063 was made by Council President Waterman and seconded by Councilperson Saleh. On the motion to close the public hearing on City Ordinance 25-063, Councilperson Ridley.
Aye.
Councilperson Hewlings.
Aye.
Councilperson Bajano. Councilperson Saleh.
Aye.
Councilperson Solomon.
Aye.
Councilperson Gilmore.
Aye.
Councilperson DeJeece.
Aye.
And Council President Waterman. Motion carries 8-0 with Councilperson Rivera absent to close the public hearing on City Ordinance 25-063. For final consideration and adoption of City Ordinance 25-063, Councilperson Ridley.
Aye.
Councilperson Hewlings.
Aye.
Councilperson Bajano. Councilperson Saleh.
Aye.
Councilperson Solomon.
Aye.
Councilperson Gilmore.
Aye.
Councilperson DeJeece.
Aye.
Councilperson Rivera voted earlier, and Council President Waterman. City Ordinance 25-063 is adopted unanimously 9-0. On to our next second reading ordinance, item 4.7, City Ordinance 25-064 is an ordinance amending Chapter A 352, enabling ordinances of the Jersey City Municipal Code, dedicating a plaque on a bench located on Grove Street or Newark Avenue in the city of Jersey City in honor of Arif Patel. This is a public hearing on this ordinance. Any member of the public wishing to be heard, please come up to the podium and state your name for the record. And if you would be kind enough just to spell your name for myself and my court reporter.
Farhan Patel, FARHAN
Thank you, Farhan.
Good evening, Council President, council members, and members of the Jersey City community. On behalf of my mom, sister, and family, I wanted to share a few words. First of all, thank you for taking the time to consider honoring my father, Arif Patel, with a dedication on Grove Street. It means more to my family and me than words can fully express, and I'm grateful to be here with you all today. My father was a proud member of this community for almost 30 years. At just 24 years old, he opened his first store, Grove News Corner, right down the street from here across the PAT station. Over time, he expanded his small business to other parts of the city, but Grove News was always the heart of it all. It is a powerful symbol of his dedication, his work ethic, and the love he had for this neighborhood. From there, he built many relationships with members of the Jersey City Police Department, the essential workers of the city, staff members of the mayor's office, other business owners, and more. My dad fought a long and courageous battle with cancer. He was given 6 months to live, but being the fighter he is, he stayed with us for 4 more years. He faced each day with strength, humor, and grace, never once letting illness take away his spirit. Throughout his battle, he still made his way to Grove Street, talked to customers, embraced himself within the community each day, despite the pain he endured from chemo and radiation. Even now, 4 years after his passing, his legacy is felt. I've decided to run my father's business, and I've been here every day for the last 4 years, hoping to continue his relationships while also creating new ones. Customers will still come into the store and smile when they see me at the counter. Many of them call me Little Arif instead of my name Farhan, because in me they see the 27-year-old version of the man who once stood behind the same counter with a dream and a deep love for this city and its people. I once again want to say thank you for considering this dedication. I wanted to give a special thank you to Mr. Sean Gallagher for guiding me throughout this process, and to all the businesses on Grove Street who signed the application to support my father in receiving this honor. And thank you to everyone present for your time in remembering my father and making his presence on Grove Street everlasting. Thank you.
This is still a public hearing on City Ordinance 25-064. Any member of the public still wishing to be heard, please come up to the podium and state your name for the record.
Motion.
Motion to close a public hearing on Ordinance 25-064 was made by Councilperson Saleh, seconded by Council President Waterman. On a motion to close the public hearing on City Ordinance 25-064, Councilperson Ridley.
Aye.
Councilperson Hewlings.
Aye.
Councilperson Bajano. Councilperson Saleh.
Aye.
Councilperson Solomon.
Aye.
Councilperson Gilmore.
Aye.
Councilperson DeJeece.
Aye.
And Council President Waterman. Motion carries 8-0 with Councilperson Rivera absent to close the public hearing on City Ordinance 25-064 for final consideration and adoption of City Ordinance 25-064. Councilperson Ridley.
I'd just like to say to his family, thank you for, the years that you've been here serving in Jersey City community as a staple business here. Your dad will be remembered and will definitely be remembered by the residents of Jersey City, particularly in that area, who pass by every day and had the opportunity to interact with him. So with that, I vote aye.
Councilperson Hewlings.
Aye.
Councilperson Bajano. Councilperson Saleh.
I proudly vote aye.
Councilperson Solomon.
Thank you for sharing your father with Jersey City and for having a wonderful business in our neighborhood. So I proudly vote aye.
Councilperson Gilmore.
Aye.
Councilperson DeJeece.
Aye.
Councilperson Rivera voted earlier, and Council President Waterman. City Ordinance 25-064 is adopted unanimously 9-0. I'd like to say congratulations to the Patel family. Okay, on to our last second reading ordinance, item 4.8, City Ordinance 25-065 is an ordinance opting into the Garden State CPACE program to facilitate the financing of the CPACE projects. As discussed at the caucus, we are going to carry this ordinance to the June 25th Municipal Council meeting. So with that being said, council members, I need a motion to carry City Ordinance 25-065 to the June 25th Municipal Council meeting.
Motion. Second.
I'm going to give Councilperson Saleh the second. The initial motion, I'm going to give that to Councilperson Ridley. All right, I got it right. All right, on the motion to close the public hearing, excuse me, on the motion to carry City Ordinance 25-065 to the June 25th Municipal Council meeting, Councilperson Ridley,
Aye.
Councilperson Hewlings,
Aye.
Councilperson Bajano, Councilperson Saleh,
Aye.
Councilperson Solomon,
Aye.
Councilperson Gilmore,
Aye.
Councilperson DeJeece, and Council President Waterman. Motion carries 8-0 with Councilperson Rivera absent to carry City Ordinance 25-065 to the June 25th Municipal Council meeting. All right, council members, before we get on to our public speaking portion of our meeting, I know that Council President has to leave a little early tonight, so we're going to take her vote on claims and addendums and the resolution. So Council President, we'll start with claims and addendum number 1.
Can I leave too?
If you if you have to, if nature calls, if you have to go, it's fine. But I can't let anybody else go because I need a quorum. Anyway, with that being said, he was only joking. Resolutions 10.1 through 10.13. Items 10.14 through 10.24. Items 10.25 to 10.35. And for the balance of the resolutions, items 10.36 through 10.50. Council President, just you.
No on 10.46.
Uh-huh,
No on 10.47.
uh-huh,
No on 10.48.
uh-huh.
And aye on all the rest.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Council President, you are excused. Council President Pro Temp Ridley will stay in her seat and will be the acting council president as such. Councilperson Bajano, I heard you. With that being said, we're going to our public request for a hearing. I'm going to be calling the number and the first name of the individual, so please follow along with your agenda, whether you're at home or you're in person. With that being said, our first public speaker is Laverne, 5.1. And Laverne, before you start speaking, let me get the camera on your beautiful face. The timer ready? Let's go.
Good evening, council. I come before you. I need your support in my community. I gave everybody a plan that a developer had planned a few years ago. He's ready to do this project. Another developer is trying to steal it from us, but the other developer group, the ARP group, is not shovel ready. He's shovel ready. And we're fighting because this man is giving back to my community a recreation center that I need in my community. He's giving parking spaces and other things, and he's ready. So he's fighting. I just want support that letting the community know that my city council is behind the original developer that wanted to develop this land. He's giving commercial space to minority women and different groups. And it's a beautiful plan that I would love to see happen in my community. So please, please, just don't give up on this guy here, Lou Mung, before the other group, the ARP, because he's giving affordable housing, 35 units. Let me put my glasses on, I'm old. 40 spots, public parking, recreation center, retail marketing. It's a lot going on right now. I know it's election time, but I do need focus with this project. And the other thing I need support with in this community is more affordable housing. People need jobs. There's some plans out here that really need our support. I got some flyers from the back. And people are really crying right now. Landlords are really being very nasty to people, putting them out, and they have nowhere to go. And we got to get on housing authority. My baby down there, Section 8. One lady had to go to New York to get Section 8. One had to go to Newark and been in Jersey City all her life. So we need to focus where this stuff is going. And I really, really need your support with that. And then on Lafayette Street at Webb Park, the trees need to be trimmed there. The lighting is bad by Monumental Church, right between Woolworth Street and Van Horn. So if you guys, Councilman Gilmore, can I have his attention for 1 minute? On Lafayette Street by Monumental, it's very dark. The trees need to be trimmed and we need more light there between Woolworth Street and Van Horn. It's really not good. You got Lafayette Street?
We split it. We'll take care of it.
Okay, at Monumental. Thank you, and you all have a blessed one.
Okay. Before we move on to the next speaker, I apologize about this. We have to defer to item 10.9, Resolution 25-370. It's a resolution declaring Thursday, June 26th, 2025 as Gun Violence Awareness Day in the city of Jersey City.
Sean,
Yes.
we defer.
We typically always defer to these items in the front.
You have people here for it.
Huh?
You have people here for it, so you want to?
Yes.
Okay.
So we have motion to defer to item
Yes.
10.9,
Present.
10.9,
Yes,
yeah.
people here waiting for it to be presented.
Resolution 25-370. And that motion will be made by Councilperson Gilmore. May I have a second? Second by Councilperson DeJeece. On a motion to defer to item 10.9, Resolution 25-370, Councilperson Ridley.
Aye.
Councilperson Hewlings.
Aye.
Councilperson Bajano. Councilperson Saleh.
Aye.
Councilperson Solomon.
Aye.
Councilperson Gilmore.
Aye.
Councilperson DeJeece. Motion to defer to item 10.9, Resolution 25-370 is approved 7-0 with Council Members Rivera and Council President Waterman absent. So council members, we're going to take a vote on City Resolution 25-370. On the resolution, Council President Pro Temp Ridley.
Aye.
Councilperson Hewlings.
Aye.
Councilperson Bajano. Councilperson Saleh.
Aye.
Councilperson Solomon.
Aye.
Councilperson Gilmore.
This is a resolution sponsored by my office just to highlight the importances of the safety and trying to deter gun violence. I do want to take this time just to thank all of the organizations and community groups who partner trying to combat gun violence in our community. Just last year, we were able to achieve a historical no homicides in the summer. We're looking to try to have it none for the year. And, you know, gun violence is something that plagues our community far too often. So we wanted to, one, highlight the people that's doing the work, and then two, highlight the significance behind it and how gun violence impact our community. I proudly vote aye.
Councilperson DeJeece. City Resolution 25-370 is approved unanimously 9-0. All right.
Just speaking, Sean, some of the community partners that partner with the work for gun violence prevention. Yeah, there's only one. She's only speaking for 2 minutes. Yes. It's on, they're speaking on,
Okay.
Accepting
res-
the,
accepting the resolution, Rich.
No problem, Pam. Just let me put the camera on your beautiful face
Thank you.
and then we can start.
Thank you, friend. Good evening, council. And thank you so much, Councilman Gilmore, for always being the champion and always lifting up a problem in our community and the neighborhoods that it's concentrated in. Since the very beginning of us doing this work, following the lead of folks like Dwayne Baskerville and Go Get My Kids and other organizations, and since creating the Anti-Violence Coalition movement as a community group in 2014, then as a nonprofit in 2019, I just truly appreciate keeping this conversation at the forefront, treating it like a public health concern, but not just saying it, but treating the root causes and really implementing things in our community that are impactful for families and for victims of violence and survivors of gun violence like myself. So I really appreciate that. And you just never cease to amaze me, from the trenches before being a councilman all the way to, in sitting at the dais and then still making sure that you're doing what's right by the people in those neighborhoods that lack investment. I truly appreciate you. I love you, brother. And I'm looking forward to bringing this full circle. I love great symbolism because symbolism is needed, right? And we're going to make sure that we put funds behind this issue to make sure that we're even elevating the conversation to the highest level. So thank you so much, Councilman Gilmore. Thank you so much to the body as a whole. And I just appreciate you, brother, and I love you.
Thank you very much. Now back to our regular scheduling programming, and we're back to the public request for a hearing. With that being said, speaker 5.2, Tina. Councilperson Gilmore, don't say she left, she's here.
Yeah, she's here, Sean.
Hi, guys. Yes, my name is Tina, and yes, I do work for Education at Gilmore, but I'm speaking for myself. Justice for Drew. Justice for Drew. That's right, guys. I understand we ain't been getting that fine for mental health, but we still could say justice for Drew. We still looking for that fine. That is one thing I wanted to ask exactly what was going on with the funding that they supposed to been having for mental health. I know we supposed to been having a spot in our community at 450 Martin Luther King next to Community Treasure. So I wanted to know exactly what was going on with that because we definitely need more classes about mental health in our community. And I also wanted to know about Healthy JC, why they don't have a good marketing. They papers always come out late in our community. Education to Gilmore. They papers always come out late in our community. So we want to know who's doing a marketing so they papers can come out early. It's just like with me doing the outreach, our stuff come out early. So we want our community to know so they can get some type of help. Unless it's some undercover, they only want certain people inside of the meeting. And again, I don't understand why PAL is here. These kids should be out home doing and enjoying themselves. They should not be here finding out what's going on with their fund. It should be automatic fund to the organizations that's out here in the community. I've been speaking about that every time I come to the meeting. That be the number one. It'd be justice for Drew, and it'd be about the nonprofit, because I speak about the nonprofit because the nonprofits is the ones who have the boots on the ground. We are the ones who come back to let y'all know what's going on in the community. I was trying to read some of Erica that she had, because Erica has some good messages. I thank you, Education of Gilmore, for the gun violence today with Pam Johnson, because she automatically speak about that in the community. I also wanted to thank you for doing a good job for Roz. Do you know Ward F came out and vote? Oh, do you know they came out and showed out? Oh, do you know that? Oh, they came out and showed out. Oh, we educated our community this time. We let them know we ain't playing no more, okay? It's time for us to build, and it's time for us to build right. My aunt always taught me this. She said, ain't no in between. You either do right or you do wrong. And we ain't doing no wrong. We doing right. And we ain't in no between of that mess what's going on. We are going to do the right thing, and we're going to show them how we come together in our community. We'll never have this spot like this filled in November when we get the new people. It would be empty because we'll be out here doing our job. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Tina.
Our next speaker, 5.13, Gina. Is Gina here? Okay, thank you. And how about Edward?
He's not here.
He's not here. Whoa. Oh, okay, Tina. I Speaker 5.5, James S. Seymour, not here. Okay, 5.6, Ashley. She's not here? No, okay. 5.7, Hendeka. Not here? I certainly am, sir. Item 5.8, Nick. Nick is here. There he is.
I'll take this one. So good evening, everyone. It's nice to see you all.
Good evening.
Nick Pastula, P as in Paul, ASTULA, Crescent Ave, Ward F, Traffic Reform Warriors. As we head into the summer months, I want to also speak about public safety, but not just the emergency kind, but the everyday community-centered safety, the kind that shapes how we feel moving through our neighborhoods. Because moving into the summer, right now, many areas of our streets are telling a different story. We see it in speeding, reckless driving, intersections that feel like danger zones. We hear it in noise pollution, we experience it in litter, and we notice the breakdown of basic conduct, both from our youth and from our adults. When we tolerate these quality of life issues, it chips away at our sense of place throughout the city. Over time, we lose what makes our neighborhoods welcoming, vibrant, and connected. This is where traffic patrols can come in. And they're not just about tickets. They're a visible investment in our community's well-being. They say we care. This space matters. Your safety matters. Traffic patrol creates a culture of accountability. They remind everyone, drivers, riders, pedestrians, we all share this space. And let's be clear, we support economic development goals too. Main streets like Monticello, MLK are trying to grow. Small businesses rely on foot traffic. Families need to be safe walking across the street. Community events thrive when there's structure and order. Traffic patrols are community infrastructure, strong and deliberate. They're just as essential as lighting, signage, and sanitation. Without them, we're telling our neighbors and our business owners that they're on their own. So I urge council and administration, please invest in visible, proactive safety enforcement. Not just to uphold safety's sake, but to uphold the shared quality of life that we're all working to build. Thank you.
Our next speaker, 5.9, Ever.
Hi, I'm Enver Pastula.
Hi, I'm Xavier Pastula.
Hi, I'm DJ.
Our favorite park is Berry Lane Park. We go there a lot. We like to practice sports on the turf field, especially football and lacrosse. We play on the Jersey City lacrosse travel team and we visit other towns. We've noticed something. Berry Lane doesn't feel as clean as the other parks we visit. There is a lot litter on the ground and the bathrooms are usually really dirty or closed.
Sometimes there are teenagers shooting bottle rockets at each other, running wild, and riding fast motorbikes around the park. They almost never get in trouble unless my dad says something. We're not sure why, but we wish We're not sure why, but we wish it could be like other sports parks we see. We really love this park and we want to keep using it and be proud of it.
We hope the city can help us make it safer and cleaner this summer. Thank you for all listening.
Thank you.
All I can say, that's going to be a tough act to follow. Next speaker, 5.10, Elvis. We usually go in order, just so you know.
And everybody's.
President Pro Tem?
Right? You just want to go in a different order.
Okay, if you could just state your name for the record so I know which,
My name is Seth
you
Schwartz.
can lift that up because the little guys were speaking.
My name is Seth Schwartz. I am not as cute and adorable as the previous people that just spoke, but they did an awesome job. I'm the founder and CEO of Common Courts for Kids, which is a nonprofit basketball and beyond program. Our mission statement is enlightening kids through basketball to successfully navigate their lives and impact the world. When people usually hear about basketball and beyond, they immediately close their eyes and ears because they're like, oh, basketball, there's 1,000 programs like that. I want to tell you about the 10 terms to success that we created. That's really something that every single person in this room, adult or child, should have in common. And that helps everyone be successful, whether it's on the court or, more importantly, off the court. Accountability, endurance, resiliency, respect, common, trust, self-confidence, skills, empathy, and self-control. Those 10 terms are taught from the very first day we meet with anybody we work with, and it creates a roadmap to success for the rest of their lives, no matter what they're doing. Our basketball credentials are impressive. Our curriculum was built by someone who coached and trained over 40 players to the NBA, someone who coached Bobby Hurley Jr. and Danny Hurley, with obviously long standing roots and doing phenomenal things in Jersey City. On a side note, Bob Hurley Sr. came to scout me out in a high school game, which I feel good about and proud when he came in because there was a buzz then and there should be a buzz now. I want to help kids. Our slogan is, Common Courts for Kids, because the kids of today are the adults of tomorrow. All the kids who are over here and coming, right, they're the future. I could spend the next 20 years talking to any adult here, and they might not change their point of view unless they're being very open-minded. But when you talk to youth and you want true transformation, and we focus on 3rd through 8th graders, but others as well, that's real transformation taking place. Now, my question is, I know I have a phenomenal program. I've been here all year, but I don't know anyone on this council. I'd like to get to know them in the future. I invite you down to see my programming as well too. Tonight, we were going to be doing basketball at PS 34, but I and others felt it was appropriate for these kids to learn the 10 terms to success, and they were going to learn much more about life here than there. Thank you.
Thank you. Elvis, are you going now or? Okay.
Yeah, is Maria with them? Yes. Maria's with them? Maria with them?
So is Maria with you guys?
Right here.
I'm so sorry. Go ahead.
Okay, my name is Maria De Souza. I'm one of the parents. I was raised in Jersey City. I'm very familiar with downtown.
Maria, just make sure the mic is down a little bit.
So, as I say, I'm raised in Jersey City. I'm downtown in Jersey City. I went to 16th school, Ferris High School, and I have a son who's 12 years old, and he was struggling with school academically. And, I had to pay, out of my pocket, struggling working parents, 7 days a week, sometimes 16 hours straight, didn't have a place for my son to go. So I came across POP. Since then, he's been there for about 3 years. He's doing pretty well academically. Um, they need support as far as financial support, because in nowhere in Jersey City you will find a program that is going to only pay $175 from the time they pick him up from school until 7 o'clock. I was paying someone where in school that he was going, and after 5 minutes, or even no, actually a minute late, I was paying extra. Like I said, Miss Elvis and Miss E, Maisha have done so much for our youth. And I do work for mental health facility for 20 something years. So it actually starts from them. The kids are the one. You're talking about, gun violence. You're talking about, being, in Jersey City, where I know it's a community that don't have extra support. Like downtown Jersey City, where I was raised, this is all the funds are. But when you pass Montgomery Street and up, there's no fun. And those are the needed area in Jersey City. And I think, you guys should think about that this program supported by 2 people only, Miss Maisha and Mr. Elvis, and they be fighting for their grants for a long time. Like I said, I'm not a public speaker, and I get very emotional when speaking to them sometimes, and they telling me, and outsider people are the one that's actually funding them, and our taxpayer are not even funding them. And it's sad to say, but downtown Jersey City, that's where all the
Thank you.
sorry.
And now the one and only Elvis.
Right? I'm a little disappointed with everything that's been going on for the past 2 years. We actually never come here because I never need nothing from y'all. I come to get what was deserved to me. I applied for a grant, I received the grant. And receiving the grant, my grant disappears. It reappears magically after we get the grant. They tell me, yes, the money's in my account. The money is in the city's account and it belongs to me. All I have to do is do the work. It's a reimbursement grant. I do my reimbursement. I give you all my receipts, and the receipts are not good enough. I held my receipts for a year and a half. A year and a half, my receipts, same receipts, nothing changed. And as soon as the director gets fired, I received 2 checks from the receipts that they had for the past year and a half. When she comes back, my grant gets terminated. That's a problem. For being in compliance. They said I was not in compliance with my grant during the time limit. The department had over 7 people hired and refired in the past 2 years. The turnaround in that department is disgusting. And this is the CDBG department. It's horrible. And y'all all got my termination letter. Everybody, Ms. Hewlins, you did not get my termination letter. I don't have your email yet, but I will get it. But y'all have my termination letter that I was not in compliance. On top of that, I received my termination letter in June 7th. June 7th, I get my termination letter dated May 28th. On top of that termination letter, I'm getting audited through CDBG. and I get a termination letter. I've been in their office 3 times a day, 3 times a week for the past 2 years. That's the reason I see you there so much. That's the reason I see you there so much, because I'm complaining. And they always tell me, yeah, don't worry about it. We're going to get it for you. Luckily, by God's grace, I went to Elizabeth and I went to Patterson. They taught me more about CDBG than your staff knows about CDBG right now. That's the reason, y'all God. I didn't know I could get an extension. I didn't know I had to sign a contract. I thought the award letter was the contract. 250,000, they cut me short. As soon as she came back, my contract get terminated. The meeting get canceled that we were supposed to go so we could get a reimbursement. And we have questions like, how are we documenting this stuff? Yeah, ask the auditors. Ask the auditors, they have everything. This is the problem that we're having right now. I wish Ms. Waterman was here because she was in a ton of meetings with me at this. I'll keep it.
Elvis.
Thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker, 5.13, Crystal.
Hold on, Sean. I want to
sure.
ask Peter. Peter, do we have I don't know. When did you send the email? The email was sent this week? Is this week though? Oh, okay. I haven't. Okay, so Peter, do we, because I'm not familiar with what's exactly going on.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with the situation, but if you forward me the email, if we haven't gotten it already, we'll take a review of it and work with the CDBG and the director to resolve whatever issues might be there.
Okay.
We'll appraise the council of any updates we have.
L, Gladys is going to make sure she gets the information from you, okay? Because we don't have it. So make sure you send it to Gladys, so at least we'll have a copy of it.
I did get the email. Camera Dana there? Peter?
Got it from somebody else. Let me see.
Peter, can I ask, we have a resolution for some of the funding, 10.25, the unallocated funds. If the PAL's funds were connected with anything with that, should we postpone voting on that? I know firsthand what they went through and the trips back and forth and the directions that they were given, that they followed, the receipts that they got, and then the money being taken away as well.
What's the resolution number again?
10.25.
1025, yeah, it's the unallocated funds.
If you want, I'll take a quick look at it while we're going through the rest of the speakers. If there are in there, then we can take action on it, but I just don't want to stop without finding if it's in there or not first.
They're not named in it, but I don't know if, they're not named in this one, but I don't know if that's the grant that he's talking about that he received last year and is not getting again this year.
I'll find out from the director.
Thank you.
Okay, Sean.
Okay. Just want to get the camera right. All right. Our next speaker, 5.13, Crystal. Is Crystal here? Next speaker, 5.14, Maureen. Maureen Rios. Next, 5.15, Rochelle.
You're not here neither.
5.16, Tess Winnie. No. 5.17, Kevin.
Kevin Davis. Oh, there you go.
One moment. I was inspired by Katie Porter.
Kevin, your time have started.
Just want you to know, Kevin, how nice we're being. We didn't start your time yet. I try to be
Wanna
fair
put
to
the
everybody.
on the bench?
Good.
All right.
All right. Okay, we got about.
We're getting
seconds.
3, 2, 1. Here we go.
All right.
All right. Sorry about that. Thought the other speakers were going to show up. All right. So, professionally by trade, I'm a bookmaker and not the Simon and Schuster type, the type that sets odds during sporting events. But I did take a part-time job. So I figured, what are two things I like to do? I love entertaining people and I love biking. And I happen to have a sightseeing license. So I got a job leading bike tours in New York City. And it's been fantastic. I've gotten rave reviews. But one thing I've noticed while leading the bike tours is that the New York City is starting to crack down on bad cycling, which is something I've been pushing for. But they're taking it a little too far. So we need to start thinking constructively about handle enforcement because it's coming. They're actually giving criminal citations now for certain bike violations, which seems like an excuse to have ICE waiting at court. So I propose something for Jersey City to have safer streets, safer sidewalks, and more accountability. So I penned a framework called the Sidewalk Safety Act. So it has enforcement accountability. So rather than just relying on police officers to give out tickets for bikes riding on sidewalks, running red lights, going against traffic, the city would hire permanent and seasonal code enforcement officers. So you can start off with just seasonal officers, and if they do a really good job, you can make them permanent. I also included some stuff that's good for bikers. So why not lower the fines for biking related violations to $25? Why should somebody's bank account be crippled? Just stop them, give them the ticket, and say, okay, I'm not going to do that anymore. Also, some other safe street stuff, thinning car lanes to slow down cars, lowering speed limits in busy areas. Because if you do those, the cars are going less fast, people feel safer riding in the road and it keeps them off the sidewalk. Also, have identifying numbers on the delivery vest that delivery riders are required to have. And additionally, the meeting when I talked about PAMs, public accountability markers, rather than the license plate, require all bike share programs in the city to have their bikes have a plate in the back with a number so people know who's biking. So that would cover a good amount of the bikes in the city. People can know who they are. We need to start enforcing the law so the most popular pickup line in Jersey City becomes, were you biking on a sidewalk because you got fine written all over you?
Thank you, Kevin.
Our next speaker, 5.18, Cameron. Cameron's not here?
Well, he was there.
No?
He walked in earlier.
Okay, 5.19, Becky. I see Becky, there you go.
Good evening and thank you. My name is Becky Hoffman. I'm here on behalf of the Nitty Gritty Social Club. It's a women-led pro-democracy group here in Hudson County. And we're here to read an open letter to the mayor and council, and some of my colleagues will read different parts of the letter to you tonight. Before I start that, no offense to Sean, but I have, as I stand up here, I miss your predecessor, Robert Burns.
None taken.
So on behalf of the dear mayor and council members, in the months since President Trump's inauguration, over 25 executive orders have been issued, many of which are an alarming assault on civil liberties and a direct threat to the public services that our communities rely on. As Jersey City residents and your constituents, we are deeply concerned about the potential impact of the Trump administration's agenda on our community. We therefore call upon you to do everything within your power to safeguard the people who live and work in Jersey City. We ask that you use every available tool to ensure our safety, protect our infrastructure, and preserve our resources. The key policy areas we urge you to focus on include the following: making budgeting more transparent, use Jersey City resources to protect our residents, tax abatements granted to developers who fail to provide affordable housing or community benefits reevaluated, denied, or revoked. We encourage the city to implement participatory budgeting and meaningful funding levels so residents have a say in how our resources are spent. The city should pursue federal funds allocated by Congress to support local needs, and even when those funds have been unlawfully frozen, we need to get after them. Our community must receive the support it is entitled to and avoid suffering because of the federal delays or obstructions or local mismanagement or corruption. Thank you.
Thank you.
Our next speaker, Jake. 5.20.
Good evening. My name is Jake. I'm going to be continuing the letter from Nitty Gritty to our city here. We also must resist federal overreach. The city must remain vigilant in the face of undemocratic policies that conflict with the values and priorities of Jersey City. Rather than compromise to appear reasonable, we want you to stand steadfast in defense of our community, leveraging local laws to protect constituents' rights and passing resolutions that publicly denounce the administration's misconduct. The city should reject federal attempts to obtain sensitive information such as health records, location data, which could be weaponized against individuals seeking reproductive care, as well as immigrants, activists, political dissenters, communities of color, and others. So by doing so, we can both affirm Jersey City's values and demonstrate solidarity with those who are most negatively impacted by the Trump administration's policies. Additionally, we have to focus on the federal safety net programs here. Cuts to Medicaid, SNAP, and other safety net programs will directly impact our residents. The city should be proactive in planning how to support vulnerable community members if these lifelines are eliminated. We implore you to prioritize local measures and a budget that protects Jersey City residents from federal actions that harm the well-being of our residents. That's my piece on the letter for tonight. We have other folks with the nitty-gritty who will be continuing to read this open letter later in the evening. Thank you all.
Our next speaker, 5.21, Pam.
I didn't know I was going to get afforded the opportunity to speak earlier, but since I did, it kind of took up my number 21 spot. However, I got a chance to hear from my fellow fighters at Jersey City PAL, and I just want to lift up the words and their voices because what they're facing, and on this day too, with Councilman Gilmore's resolution, gun violence prevention intervention is very important, especially in neighborhoods where we know violence is concentrated. They are located in an area where violence is concentrated. They are helping individual families and children stay in a safe environment after school, be a part of a community and a family. And I'm really asking you guys to really dive deep into the CDBG issue and see what's going on there. There is a high turnover over there. They have been some balls dropped, and clearly this is a huge one right now. And we should be educating our folks and making sure that we're empowering them so they have the knowledge and the power and the means to do the work that we want them to do. So that's really all I came back up to say. So thank you, and I really hope you guys dig deep into the issue. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Next speaker, 5.22, Eve.
Good evening. We are going to change the political system in New Jersey and pull off one of the biggest upsets in New Jersey history. Watch us. Stephen Fulop posted these delusional words less than 48 hours ago on his X account. Today, he's just another failed politician whose corruption and arrogance finally caught up with him. Let's examine the political system Fulop wanted to export to New Jersey, a system where he and his wife purchased oceanfront properties in Rhode Island right after winning re-election while his constituents faced a housing crisis, a system where Dixon advisory executives socialized with the mayor's family while receiving tax breaks worth millions. A system where a secretly recorded conversation captured his allies discussing bid rigging for city contracts. where his administration allegedly blacklisted news outlets for critical coverage, leading to federal First Amendment lawsuits. A system where hundreds of Portside Towers families beg for rent control enforcement, only to be told it would be highly inappropriate for their mayor to help them. A system where his municipal judges and prosecutors rigged the municipal court to give bad actors, landlords, and the politically connected alike passes time and again by abusing their prosecutorial discretion or even outright dumping cases. Fulop's delusion ran so deep that even as corruption investigations swirled around his administration, even as his own constituents called him the landlord's mayor, even as federal lawsuits pile up, he still believed voters would reward him with higher office. Yesterday's crushing defeat was reality's final verdict on the Fulop era. New Jersey voters rejected his brand of corrupt cronyism masquerading as progressive politics. He promised in 2023 not to run for mayor again. After this devastating reputation of everything he represents, attempting to reverse course would be pure delusion, the final act of a politician who never learned the difference between arrogance and leadership. The real upset is that many of you have emulated him. You believe falsely that you could ride his coattails. That delusion ends now. Save your political careers. Start working for the people who elected you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Our next speaker, 5.23, Kevin.
Many months ago, I predicted that Portside tenants would play a decisive role in upcoming elections. Some of you probably thought that was wishful thinking. Last night proved otherwise. Stephen Fulop didn't just lose the governor's race. He got obliterated, third place. Didn't win a single county statewide, couldn't even carry Hudson County after 12 years as Jersey City mayor. That level of political humiliation doesn't happen by accident. What you witnessed was an unprecedented cross-campaign coordination that we directly orchestrated. While Fulop's team spent millions on television ads, we worked directly with both the Baraka and Sherrill operations to ensure his defeat in every market that mattered. Our goal was a 100% shutout without a single county win. In the final 30 days, our issues and spokespeople were featured in major outlets more than 10 times, from the Wall Street Journal to News 4 New York, where I appeared alongside Ravi Bala and the New Jersey Attorney General. Do you think that kind of media placement just happens? It doesn't, but we made it happen. We made it impossible to research Fulop without encountering press coverage about what he allowed to happen to us. Our network spans thousands of voters across Jersey City and beyond. We've built sophisticated relationships with campaign managers, communication directors, media outlets, and tenant groups. Your silence and his inaction fueled this effort. The same officials who ignored our daily $5.5 million in housing violations daily are now seeing what organized tenants accomplish when municipal enforcement fails. When you won't hold landlords accountable, we hold politicians accountable. We provided opposition research. We delivered targeted voter contact in key districts. We generated earned media that money can't buy, all while building lasting relationships that extend far beyond any single election campaign or election cycle. The Bala-Brennan independent victory against two well-funded political machines was another example of our influence. These weren't coincidences. They were the product of strategic political coordination. Here's what should concern every person on this council. If we can engineer the political destruction of a sitting mayor with millions of dollars and 12 years in office, what do you think we can do in local races when smaller budgets and shorter attention spans? The landscape has permanently shifted. Those who stood by while families were suffering because ordinances have not been enforced in this city now face an organized political apparatus that spans multiple jurisdictions and has proven its effectiveness at the highest levels. Our best efforts are yet to come. Thank you.
Our next speaker, 5.24, Suvi.
Good evening, council members. You grant corporations the privilege of operating in our city based on a social contract. They provide essential services while you provide them with the legal framework to profit. Equity Residential has broken that contract. Like a utility company that takes payments but doesn't provide electricity. Equity collects rent but doesn't provide legally mandated security or quality maintenance to apartments. This isn't a minor oversight. It's systematic negligence that affects over 1,000 residents. Consider the pattern. Equity is fighting our rent control laws in court while simultaneously violating basic safety ordinances. Equity continues to illegally raise our rents while cutting corners on required security and maintenance. Equity operates other properties with similar safety issues nationwide. The message is clear: profit over people, revenue over responsibility, shareholders over safety. But here's what Equity has miscalculated. This council has the power to enforce compliance. Every day you allow these violations to continue. You're essentially subsidizing corporate negligence with public safety. You're a partner in crime. The remedy is in your hands. Enforce all existing ordinances. Continue issuing daily fines for ongoing violations. Amend your laws so that the cost of non-compliance is higher than the cost of compliance. Ensure that municipal prosecutors follow through and that violations are paid in full. Don't let corporations ignore local laws with impunity. Hold Equity Residential accountable. Thank you.
Our next speaker, 5.25, Jessica. Thank you. Next, 5.26, Gracie.
Good evening, council members. I have come back to speak tonight to address the ongoing lack of safety and security at Portside Towers. I'm not going to share the same frightful stories that you have already heard from us, but rather I want to illustrate what happens when the protections our city requires simply aren't there. Like most healthy communities, we have grandparents who move to Portside for peace of mind, and many parents who chose our buildings believing their children would be safe. I'm simply asking that we honor the commitment our community made to protect its most vulnerable residents. City Ordinance 218-1 requires uniformed security in buildings like ours, not as punishment for landlords, but as protection for people like me and my friends standing before you. When we don't enforce these protections, we are not just breaking a rule, we are breaking a promise to the neighbors who need us most. Our buildings can be what they were meant to be, a safe community where all residents sleep peacefully and children play without fear. But that requires everyone, landlords included, to do their part. Please help keep that promise to me and to all my neighbors who deserve to feel safe in their own homes. Thank you.
Our next speaker, 5.27, Tom.
Good evening. There's a gap in our city, not in our laws, but in our enforcement. And Equity Residential is exploiting that gap at our residents' expense. The legal framework exists. Ordinance 218-1 is crystal clear about security requirements. Violations are documented and ongoing. The authority to ensure enforcement rests with this council. You are, after all, part of a Faulkner Act government. Yet the negligence continues because to date, there have been no consequences. Think of it this way. If a restaurant violated health codes, you'd shut them down. If a contractor ignored building codes, you'd stop their permits. But when a massive corporation systematically violates tenant safety ordinances, they get nothing. This sends a dangerous message. Local law is optional for those wealthy enough to ignore it. The ripple effects extend beyond Portside. Other landlords watching to see if they can also skip legal requirements, residents in other buildings wondering if their safety will also be compromised, the erosion of public trust in municipal government. And we saw last night what happens when a disingenuous candidate runs for office. Protect the residents who elected you to protect them. Because if you won't enforce safety ordinances for 527 residents, who will you enforce them for? Equity Residential's negligence is a test case for your authority. Pass the test, enforce the law. We believe your political future depends on it. Thank you.
Our next speaker, 5.28, Robin.
28.
She's here.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Robin Grodner, and I'm here tonight to speak in opposition to the resolutions regarding the proposed playground on Barrow Street. I've been a resident of Jersey City for many years. This is where I live, where I'm raising my sons, where I adopted my rescue dogs from our local shelter, and where I work every day. My family is not made up of big developers. We own a mom and pop shop on Newark Avenue for over 60 years. I'm not here to go into the economic challenges facing local businesses. I'm here to talk about the proposed playground and the very real public safety concerns tied to it. Right now, the pedestrian plaza is struggling with serious issues. Open drug use, public drinking, urination, and even defecation. These aren't occasional problems. They are persistent, ongoing, and unaddressed. No project, especially one intended for children, should move forward on Barrow Street until these public safety issues are dealt with in a comprehensive manner. Let's focus on fixing what's broken before we add anything new. And let's build a playground in the neighborhoods where they really need it. Thank you.
Our next speaker, 5.29, Daniel.
Good evening. This is my 26th time speaking before you all. My first speech was in February of 2024, and in 9 of my last 10 speeches, so my speech on December 11th, 2024, January 15th of this year, February 13th, March 12th, March 26th, April 9th, April 23rd, May 7th, and May 21st of this year. In all of those speeches, I discussed the fact that we don't have 24/7 uniform security in Portside Towers, and I've pleaded with you all over and over again on each of these occasions to do something about it. And as a reminder, according to Chapter 218, Article 1 of the Jersey City Code of Ordinances, quote, every owner or agent of an owner of a multiple dwelling of 100 or more dwelling units shall furnish a minimum of 1 uniformed security guard for each residential building in the property or community upon its premises, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, end quote. It goes on to say, quote, for the purposes of this chapter, a uniformed security guard shall consist of a licensed New Jersey security guard as specified in NJSA 13:55A, hired for the purpose of protection of persons or property, real or personal, from injury or harm, that wears a particular set of clothes that clearly identifies them as a security guard, end quote. And on January 15th of this year, Council Member Daniel Rivera told us, quote, that security stuff is very, very important, and we want to make sure that you know that we are hearing you, end quote. And I've previously gone so far to literally rap to you all about why we need to enforce this city's laws. Us tenants have discussed at great length in previous speeches in front of all of you why we need 24/7 uniform security Portside Towers. Besides the fact that it's the law, we need that layer of safety, which we still don't have. As we've all told you on numerous occasions, on November 22nd of last year, an attacker entered our building chasing a woman who he was attacking. And as we've told you all on numerous occasions, a bullet pierced a child's window in our building last year. In fact, that child's mother has been in front of you, standing where I'm standing right now, multiple times, pleading for herself and your help, going so far as to cry in front of you all. We deserve to feel safe in our homes, especially when we have an ordinance that you all unanimously agreed on in June of last year. That clearly outlines that by law, we are required to have a 24/7 uniformed security guard on the premises at all times. And yet we still don't have one. And I frankly can't understand why it's so hard to get this done and why Equity Residential continues to get away with skirting the laws of this city, laws that you have all signed off on. I'm begging you, forget politics for a second and just think about the safety of us, of your constituents. And trust me, I don't want to keep coming here feeling upset and let down, but I need to know, what is the city doing about this? What are you all doing about this?
Councilman Gilmore, can you give us an update as to what the latest is on this? Yeah, like, they keep talking about it and I don't understand why, you know, I'm the councilman for Ward D, okay? So I hand it over to Councilman Gilmore and Corporation Council.
Sure, there's been over 100 violations issued. They're pending in the municipal court right now. They have not been adjudicated either because of failure to appear or other issues that we're dealing with right now. We had a meeting with the municipal prosecutor to deal with it, and we were also served with a lawsuit as well. So we're dealing with that.
You said the lawsuit doesn't have anything to do with addressing the infractions, correct?
It does. It's a new lawsuit that we just received the courtesy copy of. So dealing with the security issue.
They're going to keep.
But the infractions, we still can address the infractions.
We are. Yeah, they're pending. We issued the violations. They're pending in the municipal court. They're awaiting hearing dates, trial dates, things like that. And we were also simultaneously served with a lawsuit, which maybe explains the non-appearance or non-compliance.
You said 100 violations are in the court?
Yes, that's what I
Somebody should be
received in-
fired.
Yes, so the council knows, we have a team of quality of life individuals that are addressing this, not just this property, but all around the city. And routinely, they're going to any of these buildings that potentially are violating the ordinance and hitting them with violations, which is why we have over 100 pending right now.
But this is
For each
over
separate building as well.
100 Wait, just so we clear, it's over 100 pending violation in one particular building.
2 buildings.
Well, two buildings.
Correct.
And the violation, what's the oldest violation, if you know? Like, is it something that happened 3 months ago, 4 months ago? What?
I can't tell you that off the bat. I can look into it from the municipal court. It should be obviously after the determination was made, after they requested the exemption and the exemption was denied, particularly for the security issue.
I guess part of the problem with what enrages me is that we always say we want the process to play out. And fine, we'll respect the process. I got a sweeping ticket, I don't know, a couple months ago. And if I wasn't in court, and I think 30 days, there was fees added. And after that 30 days, there was more fees. Then they threatened to go to motor vehicle to take my license. And like, where are those mechanisms for these type of instances? Because if we constantly implement rules and in essence, they're not being enforced, and it's, oh, they filed another lawsuit, so we can't really do. At what point will we be able to enforce? Because I'm under the impression that enforcing the tickets have nothing to do with the lawsuit. So help me understand that. I don't think one should have nothing to do with the other.
Right, we're still able to enforce them. Like I said, they are pending in the court. If you don't show up the first time for your parking ticket, they might adjourn it and give you a new court date.
No, they don't. There's no way.
They do. They do. And your tickets are supposed to go to a different court anyway.
No, they don't give, they give.
Yes, you might get a failure to appear.
Yes.
You get a failure to appear, and then they schedule it for a new court date. There's also something we can discuss it. Like I said, we had a conversation with the prosecutor today. They are pending, they are working on it, and then we have to deal with the lawsuit on the other end. So we are moving forward with them. The violations keep getting issued. We haven't stopped doing that. So
Well, I just don't want to see tickets pending for 6 and 7 months. That's my whole problem. Regardless of lawsuit and all the tickets can't be outstanding for 6 months. It's a clear violation of the law because we went and seen the violation. That's why we wrote the ticket.
So Brittany, can you do this? Can you give us a list of everything that is currently in the court and I guess the status or the date it was submitted?
Right. We've requested that from the prosecutor because obviously we don't have that information. So we had that conversation again this morning about getting us all that together. So we did request that, but and it's not.
Councilman Gilmore, what do you need help in? Because this is your ward.
Yeah, it's
And you haven't reached out to my office, say, hey, Yusuf, can we tag team on something with Portside? Can we have a rally outside Portside? I haven't gotten that, right? And I'm not going to step on your toes because this is your ward. And I started helping you from the beginning, but it's his ward.
Okay,
so what? No, hold on. I want to know. No, I'm talking.
I know you're talking, but
Okay,
I'm
let me
saying
finish
this
my
is a
sentence.
conversation that maybe.
Let me finish my sentence.
And Gilmore.
I'm asking him publicly on the record right now, what do you need from our offices collectively to help them?
We need from.
What do we need from Councilperson Saleh?
Let him answer you.
We need people to do their job. As simple as that.
Okay.
We need people to do their jobs, issue the citations, go to court, and the stuff need to be done in a timely manner.
So
That's the issue. People are not doing their job.
how can we help you on this council?
We can urge the municipal prosecutor's office to prosecute the tickets.
Okay, this is the first time we're talking publicly about what the council should be collectively doing. Your office has not reached out to my office to request this. Okay, so I hope everyone on this council reaches out to the municipal prosecutor's office after today and pushes to have these prosecuted. Thank you.
Go ahead, Sean.
Okay. Our next speaker, 5.30, Suzanne.
This is a duplicate of.
Not here? Okay, thank you.
31 too, Sean.
What's that?
I think 31 and 30 and 31 is a duplicate.
Oh, it's a duplicate. Thank you. Good catch. Our next speaker, 5.32, Mark. Yep. You're ready, Mark.
Members of the City Council, I'd like to come back to an issue I spoke about last June, the Ratio Utilities Billing System, better known as RUBS. RUBS allows landlords to unbundle utilities such as water, sewage, and trash, rather than include them in the rent. Each apartment in a multiple unit building gets a bill for their share of the utilities based on some algorithm that the landlord controls. In the case of Equity Residential at Portside, we're billed for water and sewage based on the number of square feet in the apartment divided by the total occupied square feet of all apartments in the complex. The amount we pay fluctuates wildly. From the chart, you can see that I paid $53 for total water sewage in March. But the next month, the bill was $147, almost 3 times the March bill. I asked Equity Residential Management about the massive April bill, and they said this, quote, "This cycle includes a true-up adjustment. For the first quarter of the year, the water utility company was relying on estimated meter readings," unquote. However, this doesn't make any sense to me. Look at the chart for the first quarter. Why would the utility company estimate a short month, February, at almost twice January and 80% more than March? It doesn't make any sense. Estimates will tend to smooth the whole thing out. This is a puzzle, and we need a key to unlock this puzzle. The key, of course, is the water utility bills. We've asked Equity Residential for the water and sewage bills, but Equity Residential will not provide the invoice information, making RUBS an extremely opaque charge when it's supposed to be a straightforward pass-through. We have to pay it, but we're not allowed to find out anything about it. I'm not a lawyer, but I believe that RUBS is not under the control of the NJ Board of Public Utilities nor the JCMUA. Yet I'm asking these bodies to help us get copies of the bills. And now 2 questions for you. 1, can you and will you help us get the documentation we need? And 2, what is the feasibility of new law to make RUBS transparent in Jersey City? And if you need further information, on the back of that handout are some notes telling you what goes on with RUBS. Thank you. Anything we can do to make RUBS transparent in this city?
What information do you need
Need the water and sewer bills.
for?
For Portside, basically the problem is that we have 2 meters, one for each tower, and they go through this algorithm and you see this crazy fluctuation, but they won't show us the bills, even though they say, here's your defined percentage, you've got to pay this bit, but we don't know of what. Now, I don't believe they're necessarily profiting from this directly, but indirectly by not providing proper maintenance. We have water leaks all over the place here, running toilets, etc. That's puts on our bill, not on the landlord. So there's no incentive for them to follow up and repair.
Mark,
Thank you.
I let you answer the question and your time is up.
As you know, Gilmore, if you need any assistance from us on this, run point on it. Thank you.
Okay, our next speaker, 5.33, Sonia.
Good evening, Council. On January 25th, 2023, I said to you, you cannot lose my vote. I'm not allowed to vote here. What you can lose, though, is your ability to look into the mirror. Nothing has changed on my end since then. I still can't vote in this country. I still overpay my rent. I still live in a building that is infested with rats and cockroaches, and I'm still dealing with Equity Residential that doesn't give a single thought about the safety, health, and livelihood of their residents. But that's all not so important tonight. What is important is the date of the speech I just mentioned, January 25th, 2023. It was indeed my first speech, and I remembered that I just had to search for the word mirror to find it again. I meant it when I said that being able to look in the mirror is so important. So how did it feel to look in that mirror this morning for those of you who lost elections yesterday or supported the candidate who came in 3rd place in the gubernatorial Democratic primaries last night? How did this candidate, Stephen Fulop, feel this morning? No worries, this is not a speech of empathy and compassion by a psychologist. People like our mayor are indeed able to drain that even in me. My speech tonight is an invitation for us all to reflect. Was it worth it to support the candidate who took the money for his campaign from the mega landlords like ours? Was it the right strategy, Mayor Fulop, to ignore us for 3 years and not show up in a single council meeting? Was it worth it to hide behind your screens and look the other way when the people of your city get harmed? And to us, was it worth it to endure the personal threats by the mayor's security staff at the State of the City address? Was it the right thing to do to step up anyway and talk here and with friends all over the state about what our mayor not only allows to happen, but facilitates in Jersey City? Is it worth to come here week after week and make the people's voice heard? For me, the answer is yes, full-heartedly. Each and every one of my 38 speeches and of my countless conversations about what's happening in Jersey City was worth it. The people have spoken yesterday. We are the people, and it's always worth listening when the people speak for all of you and not only for Educational Gilmore.
Our next speaker, 5.34, Danilo.
Good evening. It's been a while. I wish the reason for my absence had been my satisfaction with what you all have done for us. But no, it was just my travel schedule. I also was in Germany visiting family and friends. Meanwhile, their second question after how have you been is, how's the rent fight going? They cannot believe what we report. They cannot believe that we speak to you again and again and that you take no action and for the most part do not even listen. It's always worth to listen to the people. While I was in Germany, our Kevin spoke in front of the Hoboken Council. Then I was the one who couldn't believe what he was telling us about the experience there. So I watched a couple of meeting recordings from Hoboken, and I was shocked and moved. Can you imagine how it feels after being mostly ignored by you in 33 speeches over the last 2.5 years to see a council actively engaged with its residents? There's no hiding behind screens. In fact, there are no screens. There's no playing on the phone. There's everybody there, not just a couple. Instead, there's actual dialogue. I didn't even know that this is possible. On top, speakers get 5 minutes, and if a speaker needs a minute longer, it's okay. Cameras for the stream are always on the council and the speaker. It feels so human, so engaged. They actively care. They even follow up with action. Seeing that after having come here for so long with serious concerns and evidence of violation and being ignored was hard. And at the same time confirming that something is indeed wrong here and what I just witnessed, I hope, is the start of a trend and not just an exception, and that also follows action out of that dialogue that just happened. Because yesterday sent a clear message, loud and clear, especially in Hudson County. As Nancy Solomon of NPR said, Follop lost Hudson County because in the fact that many locals are not happy with him and have not been for many years. I hope Follop and anyone in his camp takes a long, hard look in the mirror. And to Mayor Follop directly, after actively suppressing my right to free speech at the State of the City and on social media many times, it is indeed your time to be silent now, as you stated in today's post. Don't you dare to break your promise to not run again in Jersey City. And to all of you in front of me, don't you think it is finally time to listen, engage, and act? Thank you.
Our next speaker, 5.35, David.
Good evening, Council President Pro Tem and members of council. First, I want to refer back to something that Councilmember Saleh said a few minutes ago, that this was the first time that Councilmember Gilmore was asking him for anything. It was the first time that the full council was discussing this issue and that he wanted to put that on the record. So what I want to put on the record is a couple of things related to that. We come here to every meeting and we address the entire council, and that's very intentional. We're not speaking only to Councilmember Gilmore's office, partly because in our group, there are people who are not residing currently at Portside Towers. There are people who live in other wards. But in addition, we are urging the council to take collective action. We're not asking people to just sit on their hands and do nothing until they hear from Councilmember Gilmore. So there were a couple other things I wanted to say. Today, our mayor made a statement that he was taking a step back in recalibrating. And what that means is after spending 2 years neglecting his duties as mayor, he's still not going to do his job. Instead, he is going to take a break. The people of Jersey City cannot take a break. We don't have that option. And we are dealing every day with the issues that Mayor Follop has either avoided or has made worse. I'm sorry, it's just disjointed, but I have one more thing, which is that this is a critical time for our city and also for the nation. This is a time that the federal government is militarizing a city and has stated that they intend to roll that out nationwide. And this is a time that elected officials really have to stand up and be counted. This is not a time to kind of just mouth platitudes or sit around, wait for somebody else to do something. And as Tina's aunt said, there's no in between. So I ask you to please stand up for what's right. Thank you.
Our next speaker, 5.36, Joel. Okay, thank you. Next, 5.37, Jessica.
City Council. So I think we've talked about this, but last night, voters across New Jersey sent a message. And here in Jersey City, that message should hit especially close to home. As we all know, Mayor Fulop's bid for governor fell short. His running mates for assembly lost as well. And while I don't pretend to speak for every voter, I do believe this outcome reflects something many of us have seen and felt, that when public officials stop listening, people find a way to be heard. For years, tenants like me at Portside and across this city have asked for something simple: follow the law. We're not asking for new protections. We're asking for the city to enforce the rent control ordinances already on the books. We have a good ordinance in Ordinance 260. It is clear. These laws include timelines for action, clear responsibilities, and penalties for noncompliance, but they're being ignored. At the same time, developers receive multi-million-dollar tax abatements while longtime residents are displaced. Enforcements get buried, transparency disappears, and somehow those with the least power always bear the highest costs. But here's the good news, and this has really been quite an encouraging last 24 hours, I have to say. There is good news. It's not too late to act, and we can be effective. Mayor Fulop and his administration still do have time to shape their legacy, and this council has the power to lead. Let's not waste months ahead in the political mourning. Let's use them to rebuild trust and show residents that Jersey City listens, learns, and delivers. Here's how we do that. Enforce the laws we already have. The mandates are there. What we need now is political will. Start enforcement. Start now. Require quarterly public reports from city departments responsible for housing, rent enforcement, and code compliance. If data is being collected behind closed doors, then it's not serving the people. Fix the broken transparency tools we already have. See, Click Fix is a start, but too often complaints are marked closed without any description of what was done, or they're marked as duplicates when they're really not. Was the landlord fined? Was the violation corrected? Did a tenant get justice or just silence? A real dashboard would show outcomes, not just status. If it doesn't explain the resolution, it's not transparency. It's just a black box with prettier graphics. The governor's race may be over, but our work here is not. Let's finish strong. Let's show that when voters speak, leaders, and I think all of you can be leaders. If you are, respond not with promises, but action.
Thank you. Yes, our next speaker, 5.38, Brendan.
Second, please. Good evening. Tonight I'm speaking about our esteemed mayor's election results. As you've hopefully heard by now, unless you're living under a rock in another country, he lost. I wanted to start this speech tonight by doing an impression of someone laughing, ha ha, ha ha, like a popular sitcom character in The Simpsons. Instead, I want to speak about a key factor. Under Fulop's leadership, Jersey City has slowly become a city that punishes everyone as they move through the city. Be it they drive, be it bike, be it walking, be it showing up in a helicopter, probably still going to get hit by something in the city. Everybody who moves through this city feels like the city itself is conspiring to hate them. This has happened under Fulop's leadership. As the city's expanded, nothing's been done to actually help alleviate these concerns. The only reason some people in the city wanted to vote for him was because he was against the turnpike expansion, which I also am. The city has been sold out to developers over the last 20 years, the last 12 of which Fulop was the mayor and helping sell the city out. The city can't support the population because of its poorly maintained infrastructure, from its lack of roads to its crumbling to the crumbling roads to the painted on bike lanes that leave you protected by a small piece of white paint from a car. As I can assure you, the paint does not protect you from speeding trucks. We've been coming to these meetings for years talking about millions in daily violations in buildings all around Jersey City. The people have noticed. It's why the people of Jersey City voted against Fulop, because they realized how badly he ran the city for the last 12 years. That's the problem. You can't just keep ignoring problems and claiming growth and ride your way to victory and throw some bones about fixing transit. They've noticed when this council wouldn't investigate. People have noticed when things are being handed out to developers while residents and what's the word? The residents and longtime individuals get nothing and get ignored when they bring up concerns and complaints. They've noticed when the city smells like sewer because the sewer system's been broken since about 2015, if my memory serves. It's one of the main reasons Jersey City residents voted against Fulop. We helped people wake up. Now wake up. Thank you.
Our next speaker, 5.39, Tara.
Council members, last night, David defeated Goliath in the New Jersey Democratic primary for governor in Hudson County. That giant was Stephen Fulop's political machine, built on developer donations and corporate appeasement. It came crashing down when confronted by the simple truth. In his post on X this morning, the mayor claimed, "There's not much I'd go back and change. I felt our campaign was substantive, thoughtful, and true to the kind of change we wanted to bring to New Jersey." Portside Towers tenants know something about fighting giants. For over 3 years, they've battled Equity Residential, a corporate behemoth that owns 80,000 apartments nationwide. When they illegally overcharged them $140 million and ignored a unanimous rent leveling board ruling, they didn't back down. But here's the twist in their David and Goliath story. Our own mayor was supposed to be in our corner, and instead he sided with Goliath. To Mayor Fulop, I truly regret that I voted for you. You are a mayor for what is in your own best interest, one of their neighbors declared at a prior council meeting. Mr. Mayor, this is the crux of your failures, and a change in your administration's actions 3 years ago would likely have changed yesterday's outcome, at least in Hudson County. Instead of nearly 60 consecutive municipal council meetings in which we pointed out your administration's failure to enforce its ordinances, we would have moved on to more productive things. Nearly 60 consecutive municipal council meetings providing evidence of the lack of change in Jersey City shone a light on your hollow claims and continued to erode the confidence your constituents and those of neighboring communities in Hudson County drove us all to seek a better and more trustworthy candidate for governor. When we needed our mayor to enforce rent control laws, he claimed that it would be highly inappropriate to help. But the opposite occurred in Hoboken, and Mayor Bala has reaped the rewards and is on the verge of ousting your endorsed candidate, Jessica Ramirez. When Equity continued illegally raising rents after losing the board ruling, Fulop remained silent. When there was a fire and flooding in our buildings, when a bullet went through a resident window, when our elevators continuously fail, when we have no uniformed security, our mayor was nowhere to be found. So they picked up their slingshot, a $400 million federal lawsuit, and aimed it at corporate Goliaths ourselves. We organized and we fought back without our mayor's help. Last night, New Jersey voters delivered their own stone to Fulop's political forehead. They rejected the disingenuous, progressive, and name-only mayor who has repeatedly enabled corporate exploitation. Fulop promised in 2023 that he wouldn't run for mayor again. After this crushing defeat, he better keep that promise. Thank you.
Our next speaker, 5.40, Shannon. Not here. Thank you. And 5.41, Michelle.
With all due respect, all 9 of you are a body that should work together as part of the Faulkner Act government that you serve in. You serve us, and we've asked you multiple times, all 9 of you, to please launch an investigation. That is what Gilmore needs help with. We all need help with that. It doesn't just fall on Gilmore's shoulders. There are 2 at-larges and a president that are responsible for all the wards. As I watched Stephen Fulop's humiliating defeat last night, one thought kept running through my mind. It didn't have to be this way. Portsiders are more than 500 households across 2 buildings. In a state where elections are won and lost by margins of hundreds, we represent a formidable political force. We are educated, engaged, and extraordinarily well organized. When we mobilize, things happen. When we speak, people listen. For over 3 years, we pleaded with Mayor Fulop to simply enforce existing rent control laws. We weren't asking for anything new or complicated reforms, just basic enforcement of the rules already on the books. We were handed a unanimous 6-0 rent leveling board victory, gift wrapped and ready for implementation. All Stephen Fulop had to do was his job, enforce the law, protect his constituents, stand up to corporate bullies. If he had done that, if he had been the progressive champion he pretended that he was, he would have moved, we would have moved heaven and earth for his gubernatorial campaign. Picture this alternative timeline. Over 500 Portside families become Fulop's grassroots army. We organize house parties in our networks across New Jersey. We phone bank for him. We tell the story of the mayor who took on equity and won. We become living testimonials to his progressive credentials. Instead, Fulop chose corporate check writers over dedicated boots on the ground people with real voting power. The result? We became his most effective opposition. Every person who asked about our experience, every conversation about housing issues, every discussion about Jersey City politics became an opportunity to share our story of a mayor who abandoned his constituents. Council, don't assume you're smarter than the people you serve. Your constituents are your most valuable political asset. Betray them for corporate interests, and you don't just lose your moral authority, you lose your political future. Fulop pledged in 2023 to not seek mayoral reelection, and after last night's defeat, any reversal would be a mistake. The voters have spoken. They want authentic leaders. Thank you.
Our next speaker, 5.42, Nisha, sorry. Before you speak, Nisha, Kev, can you take the?
I'm also not an attorney, so that would apply to me as well. I'm Nisha Thompson. I'm with the Nitty Gritty Group. I'm continuing the letter that we started several people ago. Communicate regularly with the community. In these uncertain times, city leaders must communicate what you know about the Trump administration's policies, how you are protecting residents, who are most at risk from them. Your constituents need to hear from you via regular direct communications, in-person town halls, newsletters, media interviews, social media, and other means. Strengthen local partnerships. The city must work closely with nonprofits and advocacy groups to monitor changes in federal and state law and coordinate a response to threats. These partnerships can help protect access to care, mobilize resources effectively. Right now, their biggest tool is confusing people and scaring them, and it is your responsibility as our political leaders, to make sure we know which way is the North Star, we ask that you take on that responsibility at this moment because it will affect our streets and our lives. And we really are asking you all to step up in this moment. They already have decided to sue Jersey City. They will come for us in every way. I will end there. Thank you for your time.
Our next speaker, 5.43, Sandy.
Hello, I'm Sandy Martini. I'm also from the Nitty Gritty organization, and I'm going to continue reading this letter. The parts I'm concerned with are transportation and infrastructure funding and immigrant communities. So first with the transportation and infrastructure funding, Jersey City benefits from several federal funding programs aimed at improving its transportation infrastructure. Infrastructure must be protected to ensure the well-being and the efficiency of Jersey City. Public transit should remain well-funded and safe, providing reliable transportation for benefit for residents. Roads and streets must be properly maintained to support smooth and efficient travel. Water and sewage systems should be regularly upgraded to ensure the functionality and prevent public health risks. Immigrant communities. Jersey City is the golden door of America, the second most ethnically diverse city in the country. Trump-era policies like mass deportation and increased ICE raids, especially in sensitive locations like schools, hospitals, and churches, place residents in danger. We want you to revisit and strengthen the sanctuary city protections and consult the Division of Immigrant Affairs to assess the need for additional legal, financial, and safety measures. The city should also ensure that the legal defense funds are sufficient, that cooperation with federal immigration enforcement is minimized, and that residents know their rights. I thank you for listening.
Our next speaker, 5.44, Noah.
Hi, continuing the nitty-gritty letter. Education. Jersey City schools depend on federal and state funding programs like Head Start, Title I, and Abbott funding to serve low-income, marginalized students. Cuts to these programs harm children, particularly those with disabilities. The city should oppose education cuts, support inclusive policies for trans and immigrant students, and allocate resources for early learning, after-school programs, and student wellness. Council should also speak out against book bans and curriculum censorship. Women's reproductive access. The Trump administration has restricted funds for abortion-related services and certain medications and proposed laws that criminalize the provision of care across state lines. New Jersey's Freedom of Reproductive Choice Act, FRCA, safeguards the right to abortion in the state. Jersey City should safeguard women's reproductive rights through local policies or ordinances, ensuring access to reproductive services. It should also support local healthcare providers by allocating them resources to start, operate, and expand their services. DEI and LGBTQIA residents. The Trump administration aims to roll back DEI initiatives and enact policies that dehumanize people who identify as LGBTQIA+. The city should support and fund existing DEI and LGBTQIA+ initiatives, departments, and programs. It should also enact and enforce anti-discrimination ordinances that include protections for LGBTQIA+ individuals in employment, housing, and public accommodations. It should also encourage providing gender-affirming care, including medical and mental health and social services. Regarding employment and economic opportunity, the city should award contracts and grants to veteran and minority-owned businesses and extend workforce programs, providing assistance to those who need job coaching and help preparing interviews. Thank you.
Our next speaker, 5.45, Melanie.
I'm here to close this out. I will talk about housing and then circle back to the ask specific to the council. Housing, approximately 3/4 of Jersey City residents are renters. The city is facing a housing affordability crisis as rising property values and rents make it increasingly inaccessible for working class residents. Many housing resources flow through federal programs, but cuts to those programs threaten Jersey City's ability to support affordable housing initiatives. To address this, the city must incentivize equitable development, enforce inclusionary zoning, limit tax abatements, and strengthen rental protections to prevent displacement and gentrification. In these uncertain times, our leaders, including all of you, must act decisively to protect civil liberties and public services. We urge you to work collaboratively together toward solutions that address pressing issues like the ones we've discussed tonight: affordable housing, healthcare, education, and economic opportunity for all. We are ready to collaborate with you as partners in disseminating important news and developments to our community and promote civic engagement. The time for action is now. We hope you'll work with us. So just to circle back, because I know there was a juncture in our team, the specific asks that we are looking for you to act upon are to make budgeting transparent, to resist federal overreach, to address how the city will proactively meet the needs of residents in the absence of federal safety net programs, to communicate with your community, and to strengthen local partnerships. This is the first city council meeting that I've personally ever sat through. You guys get a lot of asks, but you have lots of people in your wards who are willing to work with you. Amazing organizations like Nitty Gritty lean on us. As an example, when all of the ICE raids really started hitting the news, Yusuf reached out to me. He knew that immigration was a core issue to me, and I'm personally impacted by folks in my extended family. He reached out to me and said, "Hey, I'm doing a program with Congressman Menendez. Do you want to participate? Do you want to attend?" Those are things that you can all do within your wards, and I call upon you to work with all of the amazing constituents and organizations to get creative and deputize people within your wards to help you help us. Thank you very much.
Our next speaker, 5.46, Stephanie. Stephanie's not here. 5.47, Veronica. Here. 5.48, Liv.
Okay, so first of all, I just wanted to ask the legal team, is there anything that this council can do with Governor Murphy to check in with him that our state's National Guard can't be turned against us? Is there anything at all? A letter? Can you guys write a letter? Can y'all talk to him about what's in place? Because California is, it looks like a coup. So that's just what I wanted to say. My name is Liv Alone. I live at 429 Bergen Avenue within Ward B. Like what was said before, I just want to remind this council that folks from every single ward have spoken with and received help from this group behind me. Remember the people's state of the city? We have the same problems and we all have each other's backs. With that being said, Councilwoman Hewlings, my building, 72 units within it. Last time I got up here, I asked if we could work together with the landlord tenant director and find out why my neighbors and I are still paying illegal rents and why the landlord tenant office gave my landlord 15 days to respond to my petition, and then 15 days passed, 3 months passed. Nothing happened. I sent that email on June 2nd and I never received a response. I understand the position you're in, being placed into this role, but can we try again? Does that sound good? Even if you feel there's nothing you can do, just a response would be great. I'd really appreciate it if we could, or if you could speak with Director Richardson about that petition. Also during my time, I'd also like this entire council, everybody who's sitting there, to make note of yesterday's outcome. Let Fulop's failure to even make it on the ballot be a reminder: no kings are allowed here. Not in this city, not in this country. Y'all's role is to serve constituents first. I remember watching this council vote to give the Pompidou Center a 30-year tax break after constituent after constituent after constituent for hours asked you to table it or allow the people to vote on it. I had never seen up close a governing body choose corporate interests literally in the face of the constituents standing right there. And I asked y'all, why? Why does everyone ask young people to get involved in local politics just to see that? And I wondered myself, who's influencing them to do that? Or what? I don't know, maybe it's not who, but what, but hopefully, and I have a really good feeling about this, it will never be Fulop again. Thank you.
Our next speaker, 5.49, Matt. Matt here. Next, 5.50, James. Thank you. Next speaker, 5.51, Brittany. Okay. Next, 5.52, Kaya. And 5.53, Erica.
Good evening. My name is Erica Walker. First and foremost, justice for Drew. And you are all invited to join us on June 26th. Thank you so much for observing Gun Violence Awareness Day. We're going to be having a panel discussion to discuss what we can do to try to stop the violence. And you're all invited to attend because we've invited people that actually do the work, people who have helped us reach no homicides last summer. So we're trying to do that again this year. Unfortunately, just Googling shooting in Jersey City, trying to get the date of the shooting that occurred at the annex, because we were promised the protocol that we still haven't received on what to happen when there is a shooting. But just trying to Google the date for that shooting, I came upon 2 other shootings in the last month where 2 children were shot in Jersey City. So this is such a huge epidemic that needs attention. But I originally came to talk tonight about, I'm deeply troubled by the resolutions canceling critical unspent grant funding in our Health and Human Services Department. This isn't just about budget adjustments. This is about lost opportunities for people who need help the most. Resolution 25-374 alone cancels over $75,000 in unspent mental health and injury prevention funds. This could have supported our residents, people dealing with trauma, people looking for help, people who simply deserve better. Unspent WIC funds because we couldn't fill positions to provide nutritional support to families who rely on that program. Meanwhile, tonight, we're declaring June 26th as Gun Violence Awareness Day. But how can we in good faith talk about addressing community violence while leaving mental health resources on the table? Mental health care is violence prevention. And we've got to be honest. People would use these free services if they actually knew they existed. Posting once on social media is not a marketing plan. I have asked this administration to do better at marketing time and time again with notices and emails and phone calls from Councilman Gilmore's office. What's the strategy to get out into the neighborhoods, into our schools, our churches, our community centers to tell people what free services are available to them. The Office of Councilman Gilmore does a great job. We have a newsletter. We have volunteers and members of our office that go door to door to businesses to post flyers. What is the city doing though? We must do better. These grants represent hope for struggling families, not just dollars, they're lifelines. If we're struggling to hire, let's fix that with adjusting salaries to be competitive, offering real partnerships with local schools, offering a real pipeline of talent or mentorship, tuition reimbursement, and leadership development. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker, 5.54, Nathan. Nathan here? No? Okay, and Meredith left, 5.55. 5.56, Sharon. I think she's here. I believe 5.57 is a duplicate of 45. And our last speaker, 5.58, Albert.
Good evening, Council. The only reason I came tonight was I read something online today, and I think that we should get a jump start on it, which is the FIFA Fan Festival at Liberty State Park. Okay, we're talking 39 days of concerts, of just thousands and thousands of people entering Liberty State Park. Last time we had a marathon here, it was a debacle. You could not get to the hospital. The ambulances could not get to the hospital. They were stopped. Okay, I think that this is something that the council needs to look at now, and it'll go into next year. But this is something that could impact Jersey City residents. We're talking for over a month. That's all I have to say. I do also disagree with the resolution to spend money on the Barrow Street playground. You know, it's not wanted by the community, and it's not wanted by the people who own the stores on that block. Thank you.
That will conclude our public speaking portion of the meeting. And now we are on to our petitions and communications. Any questions or comments on items 6.1 through 6.23? Hearing none. Any questions or comments on Office of Communications 7.1? Any questions or comments on Report of Directors 8.1? That will bring us to our claims and addendum number 1. Council members are going to be taking a vote on claims and addendum number 1. Councilperson Hewlings. She's the Council President Pro Tem.
Yes.
Why me? Councilperson Baggiano. Councilperson Saleh.
Aye.
Councilperson Solomon.
Aye.
Councilperson Gilmore.
Aye.
Councilperson DeGise.
Yes.
And Council President Pro Temp Ridley.
Aye.
Claims and addendum number 1 are approved unanimously 9-0. On to our resolutions. Council members are going to be taking a vote on items 10.1 through 10.13, with the exception of 10.9, which is approved earlier. Councilperson Hewlings.
Yes.
Councilperson Baggiano. Councilperson Saleh.
Yes.
Councilperson Solomon.
Yes.
Councilperson Gilmore.
Aye.
Councilperson DeGise. And Council President Pro Temp Ridley.
Aye.
Items 10.1 through 10.13 are approved unanimously 9-0. On to our next set of resolutions, items 10.14 through 10.24. Councilperson Hewlings.
Aye.
Councilperson Baggiano. Councilperson Saleh.
Yes.
Councilperson Solomon.
Aye.
Councilperson Gilmore.
Aye.
Councilperson DeGise. And Council President Pro Temp Ridley.
Aye.
Items 10.14 through 10.24 are approved unanimously 9-0. On to our next set of resolutions, items 10.25 through 10.35. Before we do that, let me get the camera ready. Our Assistant Business Administrator, Peter Horton, would like to address the City Council.
Sorry to ruin your flow, Sean, but for 1025, we did confirm with the director, this does not have any impact on the PAL grants, separate issue. So voting on this won't have any effect on that. They have appeal pending, I think this week coming up. At the termination of that appeal, then there might be another resolution at that point in time, but they'll have their time to look at everything. And I spoke to the councilwoman. We'll see if we can make sure it gets the appropriate attention that it needs.
Thank you. With that being said, council members taking a vote on items 10.25 through 10.35. Councilperson Hewlings.
Aye.
Councilperson Bajiano. Councilperson Saleh.
Yes.
Councilperson Solomon.
Aye.
Councilperson Gilmore.
Aye.
Councilperson DeGise. And Council President Pro Temp Ridley.
Aye.
Items 10.25 through 10.35 are approved unanimously, 9-0. And for the balance of our resolutions, items 10.36 through 10.50. God bless you. Again, that's 10.36 through 10.50. Councilperson Hewlings. Bless you.
As to resolutions 10.46, resolution 25407, resolution 10.47, 25408, and resolution 10.48. Resolution 25409, no, yes to all the others.
Are you voting no on 1046, 47, and 48? Okay. And aye on all the rest. Correct?
Sorry, Sean, I couldn't hear you.
I said you're voting no on 1046, 1047, 1048, and aye on all the rest?
Correct.
Thank you. Councilperson Bajiano. Can't hear you.
No on 46, 47, and 48. Yes on all the rest.
Okay, Councilperson Saleh.
No on 46, 47, 48. Aye on all the rest.
Councilperson Solomon.
No on 46, 47, 48. Aye on the rest.
Councilperson Gilmore.
Starting to sound like a broken record, Sean. No on 46, 47, 48, and aye on the rest.
Councilperson DeGise.
No on 1046, 1047, and 1048. Aye on all the rest.
And Council President Pro Temp Ridley.
No on 1046, 1047, and 48. Aye on all the rest.
Okay, if you just let me recap. So items 10.36 through 10.43 are approved unanimously 9-0. 10.44 is approved 8-0-1 with Councilperson Rivera abstaining. Items 10.45 through 10.45 is approved unanimously 9-0. Items 10.46, 10.47, and 10.48 are all defeated 0-9. And items 10.49 and 50 are approved unanimously 9-0. That being said, may I have a motion to adjourn at 8:55 PM?
Motion.
Motion was made by Councilperson Saleh. May I have a second?
Second.
Second by Council President Pro Temp Ridley. On the motion to adjourn at 8:55 PM, all council members present by acclamation, please say aye. We are out of here at 8:55 PM. Thank you so much, everyone present and everyone watching at home. Remember, teamwork makes the dream work. Have a great rest of the night and stay safe.